Welcome to the ERP Video Help Desk. My name is Bob, and today we're going to show you how to hook up a Modbus connected probe to our Thor Digital Controller. In this instance today, we will be using a dual probe made by Pixis, connecting it through the Modbus connectors shown here. As I pan to the right, I want to show you some of the things you might need to hook up other probes: jumper wires used for analog probes or dry contact probes. And if we pan up a little bit more, you're going to see some tools of the trade. Needle nose plier, screwdriver, wire strippers, and if you look at a Modbus probe, you're saying to yourself, I might need a crescent wrench. But when I come back, I'm going to show you everything you need to hook up a Modbus connector to a Thor Digital Controller. We're back, and as you can see, everything has disappeared. That's because we don't need anything to hook up a Modbus connector to your Thor controller. So, what do we need? Well, first of all, here let's show you the two connectors. On the one side, I'm going to show you, you're going to see the female side, which is slotted right in this picture here. And on the other side, the male side, which is also slotted. So all you need to do is put those two connections together, start to twist the nut until it locks on to the grooves, and start turning, slowly pushing as you're turning, and then until it's fully seated. That's it. That's all you need to do. You now have your probe connected to your Thor controller. Now that we have shown you how to hook up one probe, let's show you how to hook up multiple probes. In that case, you're going to use this T. Pixis sends out this T with every order of a probe. The T also has male and female sides. You'll simply take your wire, you'll find the adjacent slots, lock it in until you feel those slots just line up. Then you'll slowly twist the nut down, pushing a couple times as you do, until you have your T fully seated. Now, if you'd like to add a third or a fourth probe, you'll simply add on another T exactly like you just did. You can have as many T's as you have channels on your controller. Now, after you've done the T's, now you can add your probes, 1, 2, or 3, not putting them on at the same time. You're going to want to put your first probe on, then go to your controller, program it, your second T on, program it, and so on and so forth. Now that we've done that, let's show you how to program your probes. Now that we've shown you how to hook up a Modbus probe, let's show you how to program one into your controller. As you can see here, I've already added 2 analog probes onto my controller, and I have a dry contact probe that I've added, which is simply a flow meter. Now let's show you how to add a Modbus probe. Now, I mentioned before that you must program each probe separately and go to your controller in between each time. That is because if you would hook up all 3 Modbus probes, your controller will simply see 3 probes with the same slave address and not know which one you want. Normally, a factory sets a default setting of 240 as a slave address. So by doing these one at a time, the controller will know what you want to do. So let's show you how to do that. So let's go up to our Add Input, and we're going to see a drop-down menu. And we're going to go over and select the first one, which type of connection are we going to be using. We're going to be using a Modbus. So let's select our Modbus. Then we're going to drop down to our next drop-down line, open that one, and you'll see what type of probe do you have on this Modbus. Well, I already told you I hooked up a dual probe. There it is. Let's go down and select that. After that, we're going to do our drop-down for our channels. Notice that all the channels are open right now, so we can use any one that we want. And we're going to use number 1. Now, if you're a company with a lot of controllers, you might be used to programming certain probes on certain channel numbers. Your pH might be on number 1. Your conductivity might be on number 2. There is no right or wrong answer. As for us, we're going to go up, and since this is open, we're going to hit number 1, and then we're going to save this. And if you have done this correctly, you'll notice that it pops up, yes, you have done it correctly. It says you're okay. Now the information is loaded on the controller. Now that it's on your controller, the controller will upload it to the main server, which brings me over to the left-hand side of the screen to show this green light. Now that just turned yellow. That means that it's processing it on the main server. You will not be able to do anything while that's yellow. That's for your protection so that you don't try to do something too fast before letting the server catch up. I might want to remind you that if you have a probe on pin 1 and you replace that probe with a new one, you must delete the old one on pin 1 first so that pin 1 will be available to you to use on the new one. Then you would just repeat the system on the new one. Now if you look, we just turned green, which means you are set to go. So let's go do some multiple probes. Now, we've already added our first probe, so we're going to add a second one. We're just going to connect it to our T, and then we're going to repeat the process. You are going to go up, and you're going to go to the Add Input, and do the same thing. We'll click on that. It'll drop down. We're going to enter a Modbus Probe, so enter that. Going on down, we'll enter our probe. Now, I had 2 dual probes on my desk, so that's what I'm using. So we would select the dual probe, and we would click on that. After that, we're going to go down and we're going to select our pin number. So click on that, and you will notice if we go down here, pin number 1 is already been taken off. So you don't even have to worry about which pin you're going to select because you can't make a mistake here. For now, we are just going to pick pin 2. Once again, there is no right or wrong answer here. We'll select our pin 2. We will go save and wait a few seconds. And you are now successful. Now that it has been saved on the controller, we will drop down, look at our screen on the left, and eventually this green light will go yellow, which means it will be saving it on the server. There it goes. Now that it's sitting at yellow, you will not be able to do anything for 30 seconds to a minute. Once it is turned back green, you'll be able to go, you'll be able to set your calibrations, you'll be able to set up alerts after all that's happened. Once again, I want to stress to you, before you do anything in the field, watch these videos we have set up from ERP. Minutes watching these videos will save you hours in the field. That's pretty much it for this video. Oh, we can see that our light has turned green. You're now set to go. Once again, my name is Bob. I work for Energy Resource Products. Remember, your data anywhere, anytime, all the time. See you next video.